thank you for tuning in. On today's video, we have a comparison of two 380 ammunitions and two 9mm ammunitions, and we're going to cover them out of two different revolvers. All right, so I'm kind of excited about all this. I know that was a little hesitant there for a second, but this is going to be a good video, I promise. So first, we are comparing PPU 380 auto ammunition, full metal jacket. This is fairly cheap stuff, and we're going to test that alongside, what do we got here? Hornady Critical Defense 380 90 grain with the FTX slug. So the PPU doesn't list any sort of velocity on it, but the Hornady says 1,000 feet per second at the muzzle. So our lucky and trusty little Garmin there is going to get that information for us. That's going to be interesting. And I hear you say, you just said you're also comparing some 9mm. That's correct, I am. We have PPU 124 grain full metal jacket 9mm. And then we have Hornady Critical Defense 100 grain with the FTX slug in 9mm, which we're testing as well. And it says 1,125 feet per second at the muzzle. Again, our little Garmin will let us know how accurate that is. And like for like, I feel like this is going to be a pretty solid comparison between 380 and 9mm. And we will be testing those out of our Charter Arms Pitbull and 380 with a 3-inch barrel and a 6-round capacity. And so that's going to be our 380 platform. Then we'll be comparing it to the performance we get out of our Taurus Arms Lipsy's exclusive 9mm 905 with a 3-inch barrel. And that's how we're going to compare those two. But our super extra bonus today is that well, not both of these, but the Taurus 905 uses moon clips. Charter Arms does not. Charter Arms has a proprietary retention system that will hold the 380s without using moon clips. Normally, we use one of these, which is a Taurus 905 moon clip. Holds 5 rounds of 9mm. Taurus calls them stellar clips, but that is pretty much the term that's used for moon clips that have this space between the teeth. All right, between the prongs that hold everything. Now, as you can see on the Taurus, it's very thin. That space is pretty big, and it's a very thin situation. So those don't last very long. They bend very easily. This one right here, it's difficult to see, but it's bent right in this area, and that bend makes it troublesome, not really reliable. So I reached out to TK Customs, not TC Customs, TK Customs. TK Customs makes fantastic revolver accessories, and one thing they do really good is moon clips. And theirs are significantly more robust than the Taurus 905 moon clips that come from Taurus themselves. The metal is thicker in both width and in thickness, and so it makes a more robust, reliable moon clip. That's great. That's fantastic. We will be using both as we shoot ammunition out of the 905 today. But on top of that, we have, straight from TK Customs themselves, a fantastic moon clip that they've made for the 905 that will allow it to chamber 380 ACP. So our 905, our Taurus 905 in 9mm is going to be shooting both 380 ACP ammunition and 9mm ammunition out of it. And we will be comparing those numbers with the numbers we get out of the Charter Arms. I think that's going to be really fascinating. In addition, we'll be checking for reliability to make sure that this moon clip fits in and extracts nicely and holds the 380 ACP ammunition well, just as well as their 905 9mm moon clips. And then at the end, we'll try to see if the accuracy is relatively the same. Over my shoulder there, we've got a little bit of target paper. I'm gonna try when we shoot the chronograph stuff to get some groups worth a damn. I'm not the very best at grouping, so we'll give that a go. Yeah, so that's the plan. Oh, and we'll shoot clay in our porcupine box. So we'll get chrono readings, we'll get some shots on paper, and again, guys, I am an awful shot, especially in double action. So I'll try to make it look good, but it'll probably look terrible. And then we'll get some clay shots with the 380 ACP and the 9mm into our clay, into our plastilina, our modeling clay. All right, so I'm going to change my angle because I can't shoot from this direction, and I'll get back to you guys in just a moment, and we'll start shooting. Okay, everyone. Now that I've got that introduction out of the way, I'm a little bit more relaxed. We're going to start with the PPU 380 94 grains. Get this set up here. All right, so we're going to load this into our Charter Arms. Yeah. That still is a real satisfying click. Snaps in real nice. Holds it really well. We're only going to do 5 shots of everything. That's because we have a very limited amount of Hornady. Okay, so we're going to do all of our 380 shots on the targets on the right, and then we'll do our, or I'm sorry, not our 380. We're going to do all of our Charter Arms shots on the targets on the right, and then all of our Taurus 905 shots on the targets on the left. All right, so this PPU that we've loaded up, we're going to try it in the top right target, and hopefully I will hit, because like I said, guys, I'm not the best shot. We're about 7 yards away, so all missing will be very embarrassing on my end. All right, first shot, 976. Oh man, second shot, I hit the target. That's a great, oh boy. Look at me, just all over the place. There we go, that's a little bit more. That's better. Okay, so that's our 5 shots. As you can see, guys, I'm not the best. We are going to extract that. Beautiful extraction. Our average was 940 feet per second. That's not terrible, honestly. Very comfortable to shoot. Not terribly loud. I'm doubled up on the eyes and the ears. And I am going to cross out the shot that we got in the target below, so that I don't accidentally count that in with our Hornady shots. Okay, guys? All right. So yeah, that's not a terribly bad grouping once I sort of got it figured out. Now let's try this Hornady Critical Defense. Okay, and the Hornady Critical Defense is 90 grains. So, and again, these guys are short and a little bit difficult to pull out. Okay, so 90 grains, and again, the feet per second on this guy is listed at 1,000. If we get anywhere close to 1,000, that'd be fantastic. Oh yeah, that's a very smooth, easy to load, snaps right in very nicely. Significantly easier when at the range for moon clips. So, all right, we're gonna see if we can't hit that middle target. If I can't do a better job here at accuracy. All right, so we are on the middle target. Okay. So again, folks, that's all me. That was a tiny bit snappier. I like an average of 1,031. Makes me wonder if the barrel for this Hornady Critical Defense 380, which ejected nicely as well, makes me wonder if that barrel was from a snubby, not a snubby, but a pocket carry semi-auto in the 2-inch to 2.5-inch range. So I'm very impressed with that performance, everyone. Let's see here. Get those out. Place these back. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Put these away. Always holding on to all of my brass in case I become a reloader someday. It's one of the beautiful things about revolvers. Easy cleanup. Put those there. Oh, yeah, this is what we'll do. We'll load these guys up into our 380 Moon clip. Okay. All right, so let's get out of here. Start up a new run for the Taurus. New settings, pistol. We'll start with the PPU again. And this time the PPU, the PPU is still 94 grains because we're still on 380. We haven't switched to 9mm yet. All right, so this is our moon clip for the Taurus 905, loaded up with PPU. Slides in nicely, locks securely. Let's see if I can be even the slightest bit accurate. Oh, that was totally me. I felt that pull. Oh, high. Woo. All right. Well, it is certainly accurate, or at least consistent. Okay, and then a nice smooth ejection. Boom. Now, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the average is 835. That was a little bit lower out of this guy than out of the Taurus, or out of the Charter Arms Pitbull. And I'm not too terribly surprised about that. Again, this is chambered in 9mm, so it's not exactly chambered perfectly for the 380. So there's a chance that there's some open space in the cylinder that's causing a little bit of not the same kind of pressure buildup like you get in the Charter Arms Pitbull in 380. But that was very mild, very easy shooting. And let's switch on over to the critical defense. See if we still get close to 1,000 feet per second out of this guy. Using the Taurus. Now, again, we're going to be going for that middle left target with this one. It was shooting high with the PPU. So let's see if it's still relatively accurate with the Hornady and if it's still shooting high. Well, that's nice. Oh, a little high there. Ah, missed 2. Sorry about that, guys. We're only going to get chrono data on 3 of these. Oh. And we had a light strike. There we go. All right, so average is 889. We had a light primer strike. Had to send it around again. This is the kind of stuff that you may run into if you're using moon clips in calibers that the firearm is not chambered for. Okay. I wasn't sure if we'd see that, but I'm not upset about it. That's the beauty of a revolver. I was able to cycle all the way around again without clearing a jam that came from that. Our performance was a little bit lower. So it is interesting. It's very interesting to see. And again, very comfortable to shoot. Very mild recoil. No issues with that. Accuracy's not terrible. Again, honestly, I would shoot the PPU out of this instead of the Hornady, now that we've given that a try. But that's how all firearms go. You always want to try you always want to try all the different ammunition that you think you might shoot out of that in that particular firearm, so you can find what works best with it. So with the Charter Arms, it may be better to do the Hornady, and with the Taurus, if you're going to shoot 380 out of it, it might be better to do the PPU. And we'll find out a little bit more later when we shoot the clay. So, but that's just very fascinating. It's interesting to see. So like we have 911 right here for that last shot with an average of 889. And again, I know we only got 3. That's my fault. So 889 versus an average of 1,031. You know, so you know, we're looking. That Hornady critical defense out of the Charter Arms is averaging about 211 foot-pounds of energy. And out of the Taurus 905, which it's not chambered for, it's averaging 160, well, 150-ish foot-pounds of energy. So, like, there is some performance loss there. But if you want to have a Moon clip loading 380 ACP revolver, you know, you can get that performance out of the Taurus 905. It is very flexible in that regard, and I appreciate flexibility. That is one of the things I really enjoy about revolvers. quite often they won't be chambered in just a single caliber. Speaking of which, we are going to switch it up now, and we're going to shoot our 9mm ammunition out of the Taurus 905 and see what kind of numbers we get from that. Now, all of that 380 was very mild, very comfortable ammunition to fire. None of it was terribly expensive. So if you're looking for, again, you know, if you're looking for a gap, for a caliber in between 22 long rifle and 9mm, there are options in revolvers. You can get 380 ACP in revolvers now, either through Moon clip use in a 9mm by Taurus, or from an actual 380 ACP chambered revolver from Charter Arms. You can do 32 Smith & Wesson long or 32 Smith & Wesson or 32 H&R Magnum. All of these revolvers provide, in my opinion, a better self-defense cartridge than 22 long with barely any more recoil. But again, that's why we're doing all these tests, getting all this data so that we can get actual numbers down on paper and compare it all out in the end later on. But so far, to me, I haven't shot anything in any of our revolvers yet that hasn't been comfortable to shoot. So next we're going to try 9mm. This is our first time picking up what I consider to be a service cartridge versus a pocket cartridge. Okay, so I imagine there might be a little bit of kick for this, or in this chamber or caliber, than anything else we've done so far. And I'm expecting better numbers. All right. So we're going to load up the PPU into our bent Moon clip. Maybe we can catch some sort of a malfunction from a bend in a Moon clip. That's the real problem with Moon clips. They're fast reloads in a stressful and dangerous situation. But if they get bent, then it's a problem. And they can become unusable or unreliable. So we're going to load up our PPU. This is in a standard Taurus Moon clip. Yeah, see? I don't know if you guys can see that. That just slides right out. It's not supposed to do that. Okay. And this guy. Load this up. Look at that. Fell right out. Just boop. All right, so we're going to load this up. It's a little bit slower because of that bend. Now, you may be asking, how do we get the casings out of the Moon clips after we shoot them? Well, we use a demooning tool. Very simple, very smooth, very easy. I believe I also got this from TK Customs. Alright, this guy is Hornady 380. Okay, so this PPU ammunition doesn't have a velocity on it, which is fine. Chronograph will tell us. Let's see, and it is 124 grains. So this is significantly heavier. Than anything we've shot before, except for the 38 Smith & Wesson, that ancient cartridge. All right, so we're going to be shooting this guy on the bottom right. See if I get any sort of accuracy. Let's see, that was shooting up pretty high. Everything we've shot so far out of it. Let's see. Oh, okay. That was a lot more kick than I expected. Not unpleasant, just took me out of the gun rest. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so we got all 5 shots on the target. I'm not upset about that. Yep, so we had a little bit of stick. That was probably because the moon clip was bent. And we have an average velocity of 996 feet per second. So, not unpleasant, but significantly more recoil. A very different firing experience. If you're a new shooter, or a small shooter, or a shooter that has hand strength issues, that amount of kick may have been problematic. All right. Let's get this switched over to the Hornady. Critical defense, 9mm. And this guy's 100 grains. All right, so this stuff here, this is pretty average self-defense ammo. This is like the common stuff that people are going to be carrying in semi-autos. It's not very common in revolvers because 9mm revolvers aren't very common. But it's easy to find, easy to get, and it's some of the cheapest self-defense ammo you can get because of the volume of it that's sold. We're going to load this up into a moon clip. Now, obviously, just like with magazines, if you were in any sort of stressful or dangerous situation, you would want all of these moon clips preloaded. And we're using our TK Customs moon clip that is specifically for 905 ammunition, or for 9mm ammunition for our 905. And we'll be shooting at the bottom left target, and let's see if we can get, again, any sort of real accuracy. Ooh, that was me on that one. All right, so that was more comfortable than the PPU. That ejected better because it wasn't bent, in my opinion. And we have 1,112 feet per second average. So, personally, none of it was problematic for me. The 380 ACP performed better than I thought it would, although it did have a little bit of a hiccup with that light primer strike that we got. All of our groupings are pretty wild. From 7 yards, it's nice that we basically got them all in an acceptable diameter. Double action triggers are difficult. Changing ammunition every time is difficult. Changing firearms is difficult. All of this stuff changes point of aim. I find, honestly, shooting from a rest a little bit weird. I'm getting used to it as I make videos for you guys, but these are the only times I've ever shot with a rest. The triggers on both were very comfortable. I do have to say that I do kind of like the Charter Arms Pitbull a little bit better of the two revolvers. Simply because the 380 was a more comfortable firing experience from it. I like that it has 6. The 905 has other features that are great. That's a night sight on there, so that guy glows nicely at night. It's got a bobbed hammer, so you know it fits nicely in your pocket. There's just a variety of reasons why both of these firearms are sufficient, in my opinion, for carry. So anyway, that's going to be it for the chronograph section. I thought those results were very interesting, and especially the difference that we got between the Charter Arms 380 and the 380 shot out of the Taurus. All right, but that 380 that we shot out of the Taurus, I think, was probably going to be better performance than you would have gotten out of a 32 Smith & Wesson long, or possibly, I'm not sure, maybe equal with a 32 Smith & Wesson long, but definitely better performance than you would have gotten out of a 32 Smith & Wesson or out of the 22 short or the 22 long. So, you know, there is a place to do that if you want it. You know, if you trust Taurus more than you trust Charter Arms, or if you feel like if you're going to be carrying a small capacity revolver and you want quick reloads, that's a better setup. It would be much easier to shoot 15 rounds out of the 905 with 380 in 380 ACP than it would be to shoot 12 rounds out of the Charter Arms, because of the difference in loading speeds with their retention system versus a moon clip system. So, yeah, pluses and minuses to all of it. We're going to call this section done, and then we're going to load up the porcupine box with our plastilina, and we're going to get some clay shooting in, and we'll see what kind of deformation of the clay we get out of the various ammunition here. All right, guys, thanks. This is the first time we've shot 4 relatively energetic cartridges into the clay at once. This is the first time we've shot any sort of hollow point ammunition into the clay at once. We have 30 pounds of plastilina lined up in an 8 by 8 inch square, about a foot deep. Okay. Behind that, we've got our fleece blankets acting as our backstop, and behind that, we have our actual backstop. We're going to shoot the 380 ACP out of our Charter Arms because it got the most energy of the two for both cartridges, and then we're going to shoot the 9mm ammunition out of the Taurus. Okay. So we're going to do 380 ACP PPU, 380 ACP Hornady, both out of the Charter Arms. Then we're going to try the Taurus. PPU 9mm, 9mm Hornady. We'll see what happens. We have our eyes and our ears on for safety, and we've never had the clay do anything before, aside from just have a cavity. So hopefully we'll get lucky and it'll go the same way again. All right. That PPU 380, that's a pretty big cavity. All right, our first hollow point. This is the big mystery. Same basic looking thing. Okay, this is great. Now let's try our 9mm and see what we get. Very mild. Both of those shots, incredibly comfortable. I could shoot that all day long. Okay? 9mm, here we go. Same thing. We're going to put our PPU there. We're going to try to put our Hornady there. Let's see if it works out. Whew. And our Hornady. Whoa. Got a tiny bit of clay. So, this is very interesting. I got to check to see how much you guys can see on this. Okay, yeah, you guys do have pretty good visibility on it, but let's grab this first block out. Now, one of the main reasons I wanted to try clay versus ballistic gelatin is I wanted to see what kind of not deformation, but what kind of diameter of energy you would get, you know? So these 380s, they're very much, well, not 380s, the Full Metal Jackets are very much ice picking their way through. And we can see that it exited the first block with diameters not that much different than the actual bullet itself. Whereas the hollow point stuff, it created significantly bigger cavities. Yeah, and that 9mm, it went all the way through. But again, we're not trying for depth on the clay. We get depth all day long from the ballistics gelatin. We're trying to get volume of displacement. That ballistics gelatin, it seals right up right after you shoot it. And it's very difficult to get an idea of how much tissue around the area of impact would have energy transferred to it. That's what we're trying to find out. How much tissue around the area of impact would energy be transferred to? We got our second brick. All right, so we caught the 380 ACP Full Metal Jacket there. We caught the Hornady 9mm hollow point there. We did not catch the 9mm Full Metal Jacket yet, though. Okay, and both the 380 ACP Full Metal Jacket impacted here, but didn't go through. It's actually caught in the previous clay brick, and we caught the 9mm Full Metal Jacket PPU there. So, I'm going to have to label these things top and bottom. Anyway, what is this telling us? Well, so far it is telling us that yes, there is more energy collected, or more energy behind 9mm than 380. We knew this. We also knew that people could make arguments about whether or not either of them are effective. But what we didn't know is how far apart or how far away from the point of impact is the energy distributed? And is there any sort of real difference for that between hollow points and Full Metal Jackets? And I think we're starting to see that. And I know we'll see even more. I'm sure that the difference between Full Metal Jacket and hollow point for diameter of energy felt from the impact point, I think we'll see that go up and up, or the gap between the two increase as we increase caliber in caliber, as we get up to things like 357 or 40 Smith & Wesson or 45 Colt, 45 ACP, 44 Magnum. When we get to that kind of stuff, we're only going to shoot one, because I have a feeling the clay itself may kind of break apart. So this is going to be very interesting. I had a great time shooting all this stuff. I hope you guys had a great time shooting all this stuff. And hopefully at the end of this video, I'll get some plaster castings going of all of the cavities there. And we'll get some idea on the what the bullets actually look like, because we caught all four of them. Anyway, guys, have a great one. I had a ton of fun. I hope you had a ton of fun. And I exceptionally enjoyed the 380 ACP Moon clips for those Taurus 905s sent to us by TK Customs. That was really nice of them. I think it's a great thing that they're doing that. It's an excellent way to get people using 380 ACP and revolvers, which is appearing to be a bit more common or popular as the conceal carry and everyday carry citizen changes, and we get a more diverse group of Second Amendment rights participants. So, also, I just wanted to say that since we're talking about 380 ACP in revolvers, Charter Arms also has another 380 ACP revolver that's just come out. Should be shipping soon, from what I understand, from paying attention to all the firearms news. And that is called the Coyote, and it uses Moon clips, and it's a 5-shot. Looks to be a very small and compact snubby revolver with a 2-inch-ish barrel, which is why I don't really cover it, because we cover 3-inch barrel revolvers here on this channel. Almost no exceptions. And then also, Taurus themselves make a 380 ACP revolver. I believe it's just called the Taurus 380. Might be the M380. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I believe those are in production. I've never seen one. It's another snubby. It uses Moon clips too. And I believe it is also a fairly compact snubby revolver. So there are options for 380 ACP in a revolver. If you're somebody that carries a 380 ACP semi-auto and you would like to explore the world of revolvers, you can without having to pick up another caliber. If you're somebody that uses 9mm and you'd like to explore the world of revolvers, or you'd like to be able to explore stepping down a notch in strength for target shooting, the 380 ACP out of a 9mm revolver is an option now. This has been a lot of fun. I've said goodbye like 6 times. I'll keep doing it. I hope you guys had a great time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.